Hi and welcome. I'm Rob Scott from UC Today News, and in this session, I'm talking to Mark Benell, Chief Operating Officer from New Wave, and Chad Alford, Engineering Product Manager for Webex by Cisco. So this interview is ideal for carriers, operators, and service providers wanting to get up and running as a certified Cloud Connect for Webex Calling provider and want to take advantage of some of the latest multi-UC trends and opportunities these vendors are seeing with their partners right now. So get ready for a great discussion. Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Chad. How's it going?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to showcase how our partnership is going to really address the market opportunity in front of us.
Yeah, great. Thanks for joining us. And Chad, to that point, I mean, let's just set the scene first of all. Could you take us through what the latest Webex Calling partner opportunity is all about and why it's now is a good time to adopt Webex Calling?
Yeah, no, as a product manager, it's really exciting that the market is coming together and the transition or migration to the cloud is real. So from a Webex calling perspective, we are seeing approaching up 15 million cloud calling subscribers globally, and those service providers and operators that really want to take advantage of the migration that we see from UCM on-prem or HCS or even in the cloud environment that is in place today with our broad cloud or Webex for BroadWorks, we're seeing this tremendous excitement about moving to what we call our Webex calling platform. And New Wave as a partner is a huge component of that as an enablement partner that we announced in January on your previous, with Adam Gent, my counterpart. But what we really see strongly here is how do we bring PSTN to the cloud in the most effective way for our enterprise customers? And how do the service providers simplify that migration and that connecting the dots? So we're really excited about right now we have 40 plus world-class providers that are delivering PSTN in what we call our Cloud Connect for Webex Calling program. And obviously New Wave being a preferred enablement partner, it's really just an on-ramp to get the growth or deliver that migration story that we know that our customers are all looking for.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the partnership. I mean, we've been working for the better part of a year to really make sure that onboarding journey is top notch. That we provide all the functionality and features for clean migration, both from a Webex calling and a Webex Go scenario. So we really want to make sure that we're able to bring together all the different components and provide a holistic solution to any partners and service providers that may be looking for Webex calling and Webex Go.
Fantastic, Chad. I mean, how do you get up and running? Step us through that.
Yeah, great question. So we definitely are, there's two paths to be able to enable PSTN within our Webex calling environment. One is through a local gateway, but our preferred path for scalability is through our Cloud Connect program. So the way that happens today is people can reach out to us from a strategic perspective and we evaluate bringing them on direct, or because of resource constraints and the reality of the demand, we've added enablement partners like New Wave to be able to address that. So the first thing is to reach out to us. Second of all, we connect you with someone like New Wave to really get the time to revenue or the time to dial tone into the platform as quickly as possible. So.
Yeah, and then this is exactly what we do. I mean, we have a full partner enablement program. We have a deep history of a very programmatic approach to getting things turned up. We aren't resource constrained, so we can turn customers up immediately. And it's not just about connecting to some APIs and bringing your own voice into the mix, right? It's about what happens day two. Like most carriers and operators don't have full automation. They have a lot of swivel chairs. There's a lot of different departments to go through. And so when you want to have an actual program that not only can you get into Webex calling with your own PSTN connectivity, but do you have a program after that that enables you to provide the customer experience that's required to be successful in a market and to turn up users and customers immediately. And that's what we do is we're not only providing the onboarding methodology that we can get you up and running in say 30 to 45 days if you're 100% committed to putting all your resources into going. Now we can go as fast or as slow as you want, but if you're truly committed in getting up and running quickly, we can get you up and running and making test calls and training up customers under 45 days, not only with all the programmatic requirements of the OEM in Cisco Webex, but also giving you a turnkey solution at the end of the day to hit the market, immediately and start running.
Thanks, Mark. And Chad, and to that point, I mean, is that the value you see in the partnership with New Wave?
Well, I think what started, and this is the exciting history we have with New Wave, is it started as they wanted to be a certified calling partner themselves. And then we soon realized that the value of the ongoing capabilities of the automation, the workflow capabilities that they're bringing in iPilot, and the SBC management and control and number capabilities that they deliver across synthesis was just the perfect fit. Because the ongoing relationship, once you move to the cloud, whether you call it a single pane of glass or the reality of simplification, the authorization, or the monetization of the cloud becomes much bigger beyond just the Webex Control Hub and what we can provide. And so it really combines the best of both worlds in terms of simplifying the onboarding. So we've taken them from a certified calling partner to a global peering partner, which is really a critical step here, because what we want to talk about is the simplicity of peering with enablement partner New Wave to get access to our global geo-redundant platforms. And when we talk about platforms, we're talking about a single connectivity or peering relationship that gets you access to what we call Webex Calling multi-tenant, dedicated instance, wholesale, and contact center. So it really is that on-ramp in a very cost-effective way and a simple way for a lot of our partners they might be regional, but they have a multinational enterprise they're trying to support. So there's a lot of value just beyond the onboarding certification. So I'm excited about where this will go. And one of those announcements is our ability to look at New Wave to help us drive what we call our Webex Go portfolio and enable the mobility, not just fixed number management, but being able to provision, automate, and simplify, adding a mobile first value to all of our partners, right? That they might not be an MNO themselves, but at the end of the day, we have the ability to offer what we call our Webex Go BYOD or our Webex Go mobile operator, which competes against the Microsoft Teams Phone mobile solution in market today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly what we've been able to do. Is you have one single pane of glass. You can provision into any of the regions. You have full number management, all the other ancillary services that enhance the overall experience, all the carrier functionality. There just isn't another platform on the planet that has all the intricate features of what's required, right? So, I tell people all the time, if you want to go to the cloud and you're moving from on-prem, you have to have the same level of visibility and control over that cloud phone system as if it was on-prem. And so having all of the functionality and the number management and the different regions where you can not only mix and match your voice, but you can let other voice come in. You can buy from other, marketplace partners that are in the ecosystem, because not every carrier that we are going to connect to is an operator in all countries that your multinational customers may need. And so with our platform, you can also mix and match countries and service areas from other providers that are in the ecosystem, giving your customers true one portal vision for everything voice, whether it's your voice, their voice, anyone's voice, but all the other features and functionality that goes on top of that enhances, so you don't ever have to leave the portal, right? You can get everything on demand, now. That's the world that we're living in. It's on demand, actionable, provisionable services that I want right now, and that's what you get with New Wave.
And I think just to pile on that and to provide some positive flavor to it is we are not delusional to think that multinational customers are going to be Webex only. And so I know this is the third of a series of multi-UC, but this really validates the fact that a service provider is having to manage the complexity of moving between Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Webex. And we feel very strongly as a leader in calling, and that many customers want, whether it's a merger, acquisition, or even consolidation, there's the reality that you're going to be moving between those platforms, and the service provider, as the white glove or the managed provider into that enterprise, does need to simplify that because the complexities are real. And our tools will only address from our perspective, where the service provider has to do the perspective of the customer, the end customer, if that makes sense.
It does make perfect sense. And I suppose that's the number one reason why you would use New Wave, to get access to all these other vendors as well, vendor platforms and that kind of thing. In terms of, by comparison, Chad, would you say there's anything else that, specifically differentiates, working, versus working directly with Webex by Cisco or, and New Wave?
Very good question, Rob. So ultimately, we love having direct relationships, but at the end of the day, we're going to solve one problem for them, which is our platforms and our capabilities. We do have a strong, obviously, our support for Microsoft Teams from a room perspective. There's a lot of engagement there, but we do see calling specifically as a multi-UC environment. And so the differentiation I see is it's not just about the onboarding and certification. That's a check mark that we can do time to revenue, and what would take 12 or 18 weeks to do direct, we can do, like Mark said, between a 30 and 60-day time frame with the resources they have on a global scale. The differentiation for me is the ongoing benefit for the to operationalize the benefits of streamlining the workflow. So any API we've handed New Wave, they've been able to input, leverage, and exponentially leverage that across their tools. And I think that's what our service providers are really gravitating towards. Comment that I had from some is this too good to be true? And we're going to be following up to let you know it's not too good to be true. It's a lot of our providers are saying, whether it's the cost savings, the consolidation, the simplification, the resourcing, less resources to do more. In minutes, things are done instead of months. And that's a reality. It's not that we don't want to go direct. There will be direct relationships, but in terms of time to revenue and ongoing benefit, iPilot and Synthesis really offer a complementary relationship to managing the complexity of the cloud.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's all about the tools. So we can all agree and understand that the onboarding and the certification is table stakes, right? We have to do that. We're really good at that. It's going to be very fast. But when you talk about the holistic approach that a carrier operator is going to need, they're going to need all the tools. So if you're wanting to migrate from a legacy PBX to the cloud, right, we have migration tools, analyzation tools of legacy PBX, situations so that it helps with the migration. Those are built in. Analytics, contact center, call recording companies, Dubber, Call Cabinet, ASE, SMS enablers for, Webex numbers, right? So we're not talking about just the certification of being able to offer Webex, calling. We're talking about licensing. We're talking about the full life cycle stack of having a program and making it just a couple of clicks so that you can get through. And then with the, adding of AI into the platform and being able to voice activate and say, I want to provision this, I want to buy this license, I want to do this routing, right? Where you can, those are all feature functionality that are coming together so that one single, service delivery person can do everything. There's no swivel chair at all. And so, the acquisition of Webex Calling plus adding all the ancillary services that drive additional revenue, it's all in one really neat package. And so for a service provider, to drive revenue and additional product sets and that more dollars per customer, this system enables activation of all of that, plus the savings and efficiency. So it's basically a twofer in that you're saving, you're cutting expenses, and you're increasing the revenue per customer.
And from our perspective, our principles, our key principles around innovative and intuitive UX and improving the powerful manageability really lies complementary into what iPilot and what New Wave's doing from an ongoing portal perspective. I think ultimately, from my view, is we're better together, and the service provider only benefits. And I'll just use one example, and Mark, you can back me up on this, but just having to manage a Microsoft Teams and Webex environment in itself is complex. But then you add number, porting, and manageability of that between those two platforms and making sure as you migrate your multinational organization that has a multi-UC environment, that alone is basically justification for the iPilot product, right? In terms of just number management between those two platforms. And we see a lot of customers making decisions, long-term and short-term, about trying something out and then moving back to a Webex or a calling platform that they trust. And we see that as a very powerful way to maintain and have stickiness with our customers through our service provider and our carriers.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about what we've done is that we've standardized, Cisco, Teams, and Zoom, right? All the screens are the same, all of the provisioning is the same, all the flows are the same. So if a service delivery person knows how to provision Teams or Zoom, they also know how to provision Webex and vice versa, right? They're all identical. And so the training and get to market and understanding of how to provision any of the multi-UC products is a non-factor. It's super simple, right? So that's another value prop is that, when you have that kind of standardization, it makes the acquisition, again, of revenue, which is what drives all of us, is more revenue, is it makes it, clean and fast.
And the other benefit I want to highlight is just the commitment by New Wave to help ride on our global expansion as well. So as we introduce in South Africa and Saudi Arabia, and what we announced in India, having New Wave make sure that they're connected to us and a global peering partner really does help any customer serve the needs globally, even though their on-ramp is local or regional.
Superb. Well, today's episode is the third in a special three-part series where we are delving into the multi-UC topic and the wider trends and opportunities for partners. We've already covered Microsoft Teams in episode 1, Zoom Phone in episode 2, and today's session with Webex by Cisco rounds our mini series off. And all 3 leading platforms are available through New Wave as mentioned, and its iPilot platform. So we're going to put some links in the description below so you can click through to those previous episodes. Mark, for anyone interested in connecting with New Wave, what's the best way to get in touch?
You can go to our partner site and at newwave.com or send an email to partners@newwave.com. We'll be happy to get in touch with you and get you onboarded.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. Mark and Chad, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Looking forward to the opportunity together, better together in terms of the future of moving to the cloud with partners like New Wave.
Absolutely. And thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you've got some good takeaways from today's session, do give us a quick mention on social and subscribe to our channel for more industry news and insights. I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.